Hello, how are we doing? Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. My name is Meat, also known as Zane. Uh, Back at it again with some more Yawg League content. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. I've been busy playing Pioneer. I've been busy playing Standard for the big in-person tournaments. So I've been RCQing. I went to Texas. I've been going to Atlanta. Went to San Diego. All that stuff. So if you're wondering where I've been, that's what I've been doing. But now I've already qualified pretty early in the season for season 4. And now I have some free time so I can play more modern again because this season is also Pioneer. So in Atlanta, gonna have to play more Pioneer. But for now, until then, we can just jam some Yawgmoth and modern content, the good format. So excited to be back. Now, it's been a hot minute, and there's been a lot of stuff that's come out, a lot of stuff that's happened. Biggest thing that's happened, Lord of the Rings. Came out a few weeks ago. People are going a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. And we're gonna get crazy today. Just a little bit. So, what have I done? What have I done? We have new mana dork, Delighted Halfling, replacing Bird of Paradise. So Delighted Halfling is a 1 mana 1/2, huge. Adds generic, or you can add 1 mana of any color if you're casting a legendary spell. So that's our Grists and that's our Yawgmoths and Hepatra. Um, Love this card. I love that it's a 1/2. We can play it, if we're on the draw, we can play it very safely into a Ren and 6 because it's not going to get down ticked. It can attack, it can trade with Ragavan if necessary. It's just so good. It's really good. I'm thinking about going up to 4 and then going down to 3 ignoble. But for now, because we're still playing Magus in the sideboard, I just have Halfling at 3 for right now. And then also Orcish Bowmasters. Now this is also a new card from Lord of the Rings set. It's a 2 mana, 1/1 flash. When it ETBs or whenever an opponent would draw a card that's not the first card during their draw step, deals 1 damage and you amass 1, which is if you don't have an army token, you make a 1/1 token, and if you do, you add a counter to it. So punishes opponents for drawing cards. It's a flash threat. It can ping Ragavan, it can ping DRC, take out a lot of things in the format. You can do it in response to a Teferi, a 3 fairy. If they bounce it, the Orcish Bowmaster still sees itself getting bounced, and it will ping the Teferi as it's leaving. Really strong. Um, and if you have been following other Yawgmoth players, you might have seen Zerk's recent list where he went 4 Orcish Bowmaster, no Strangleroot, no Eldritch Evolution, and 3 of the One Ring. Now the One Ring, very exciting, a very new card, very powerful. I would love to play test with that list. However, the renting services are very sparse on what they have. I had to actually buy this Bowmaster because my renting service just did not have Bowmasters to lend out. I talked with support and they're like, sorry, too bad. So I'm like, okay, can't get it. So I just had to buy the 1. I would like to play test with 4, and then I could not get my hand on the One Ring. It's $100 right now online, and of course, none of the renting services have any. So just gonna rock with 1 right now, see how it is. I have 1 in my main deck in real life too, in paper. So we're gonna try that. I'm still on Dryad Arbor. Some people have switched to Colony Garden, but being able to fetch Dryad Arbor has won me so many games that I still think it's worth it to have in the deck. There was a win-a-box on Saturday that I played in paper that I would not have been able to win if I did not have Dryad Arbor in my deck. So still worthy inclusion. Let's take a quick look at the sideboard. We have Phyrexian Metamorph for the creativity matchup. We have 2 forces, 2 endurances, we're back on 1 crime and punishment. We have 2 fatal pushes now, just to have interaction for the early threats, for Ledger Shredders, for any of the aggro decks that we need to take out. 2 Thought Seizes, 1 Pile On, 1 Shieldred, 1 EE for Rhinos and creativity. Haywire Might now. Now I used to be, or I still am, a big Outland Liberator enjoyer. However, with the One Ring running rampant, I think I want to try Haywire Might just for right now, because the Outland Liberator cannot deal with it. Haywire Might can by exiling it, and then Magus of the Moon for the Tron matchups. And now I think I might. So Living End is on the upswing. As you'll notice, I don't have Scavenging Ooze like how I usually do. And Magus is usually good against Living End matchups. However, I don't think it is anymore since there's these new cyclers from Lord of the Rings that can just cycle for a generic and get a basic. Well, they can get any land type of the land that they discard for, so they can get a mountain and they can get like a stomping ground if they want, but they can just cycle for a basic through a Blood Moon effect, so might be cutting Magus soon over in favor of Strangleroot Geist, or I'm in favor of Scavenging Ooze, but we'll see. So just wanted to give a quick rundown of the deck, and now let's get into some Yawg League content. I'll see you in a bit. Hello, welcome back. We are on the draw here. Um, hmm. We're on the draw. Our opponent gets 7. I think we'll try it out. It's a little slow, but we have an Innkeeper, we have a Court of Calling, we have an Endurance. I think we can give it a try. Hammer Time. Okay, this hand is a little slow to deal with Hammer Time here. We'll just play out a Misty and pass it back. Hammer Time historically has been a good matchup for our deck. However, with this hand, I think we are a bit too slow. If our opponent goes Stoneforge Mystic for a Cauldron, it's gonna be pretty bad. Stoneforge Mystic. Actually, if they get a Cauldron, I'm fine with that. If they get a Hammer, I'm more scared of that. So they did get a Cauldron, which means we're gonna get Cauldron next turn. But hopefully that means they don't have Sigarda's Aid plus Hammer. Just get a Overgrown Tomb here. Let's see, Halfling. A little late. I think I think we do play it out though with the treasure. Let's just play out the Halfling. Always yield. Just to have more fodder and to also add to our Court of Calling. Alright. Probably gonna get Cauldron here. Yep. That's fine, we can take 5. Mm-hmm. Yep, no blocks. Cauldron's not very scary. We can Strangleroot was a great pickup. Cauldron's not the scariest thing. We can usually deal with it. It's more if they have the hammer plus Cauldron, then it's like we can't come back from that. But now let's see. We can only play. So we could play Stranglegeist and then hold up a Cord. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play. So we could just run out Yawgmoth here. However, I think it's better if we just go. We go like this, and then we just hold up a Cord for a Yawgmoth, and then next turn we can try to win. So if they don't have Sigarda's 8 Hammer, we should be fine here. We can just take another 5. Let's see what happens though. Ornithopter, sure. They don't have blue mana either, which is great. Yep, we will gladly take 5. We take it. Esper Sentinel. We're gonna cordon out, so we don't have to, so we don't let them draw a card. Let's get a Yawgmoth. Yep, and Esper Sentinel is fine. Shadow Spear, also fine. They are tapped out. I'm assuming they're not running Eldritch. Assuming they're not running Solitude, we can win here. But let's see. So we could save. We could save a mana by going for an Eldritch instead. Does that matter though? Because if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we just need to dig for a chord. We wanted them to draw a card. So, okay. I think we're going to, on the off chance that we draw a, that's fine, we can draw a card. I'm doing this to play around, in case, I'm doing this instead, hold on, pay one, no. I'm doing this just in case we draw the Blood Artist instead of drawing a chord. So we will do that, we will go get Yawgmoth. We will gain a life. Target here, sack the Yawgmoth, always yield. Always yield. It does not look like they have the Solitude. Target here, sack here. Now we can just draw through our whole deck because of the Innkeeper. Nice. We get the win. So even though that hand was a little bit slow on the draw, it was still fine because we had they didn't have that fast of a start. So when Hammer doesn't have a really fast clock on us, it allows us to set up, and we can even play through a Cauldron as we did there. So in this matchup, we just want to bring in Fatal Push, Haywire Might, the 2 Forces, and a Crime and Punishment. We could bring in EE. I brought it in before. I haven't really liked it all that much, and I think we already have enough sideboard hate here that I don't think we need to over sideboard. We could also bring on Pylon, but again, I think we already have. I think we have enough answers. So let's see. I think we just take out walls and grists. Yeah. So we'll take out 2 walls, 2 grist. I like to keep in 1 endurance just in case I need to flash 1 in for a Court of Calling. I think we will just take out another grist. Grist is just too, in my experience, grist is just too fair in this matchup. We need more interaction. Grist is only really good against them if they try to get a Cauldron. If they try to get a Cauldron on turn, this is interesting. They begin with 7. If we have a fast Yawg, I think we'll keep. We have 2 Boseijus too. Grist is only good against Hammer if they have a slow hand with Stoneforge and they go get a Cauldron and they have an unprotected Stoneforge. Oh, are they? Oh, do they have the nuts here? Okay, if they put a Sigarda's 8 into play, I'm like, that's the nut start. If they go Urza Saga, Springleaf, Ornithopter. Ugh. Alright, so we'll just play a Blooming Marsh, we will play out a Halfling, and we'll pass it back. This is the kind of awkward thing about Halfling. So if this was a birds, we could go next turn Yawgmoth, Strangleroot, but because it only taps for generic, we can only do one of the 2. I might. We could still hold up Boseiju. They're not attacking. So it looks like they're going to rush for a hammer here. We'll play out Boseiju. I think we just play out. I mean, I kind of want to hold on to 1 Boseiju. So they have 3 cards in hand. It looks. By the way they played their Saga turn 1, it looks like they are rushing for a hammer. So I'm thinking they have a Paladin in hand. So let's see. We could play out Strangleroot, but then we don't have Boseiju up. But I think not having Boseiju up is okay, that we have a more mana efficient play. And we do need to... Actually... No, we could chord end of turn. Yeah, so I think we're gonna play Yawgmoth. And then we'll pass it back. And we can chord for 0 looking for a Dryad Arbor here, if we need to. Depends on what they grab with the Urza Saga. And we'll just pass it back to them. They're gonna make a construct here, that's fine. Yep. floating in mana. Usually we like them to tap out for the Saga. They might get a Pithy Needle here. If they do I want to Beseiju it? I think I still want a Chord for 0. They had a Relic, okay. That's fine. We can play around that. 4 cards in hand. Play another Spring Leaf, sure. They are just attacking. I am not going to block. That's fine, we will take 5. They do have a Hollowed Fountain. I mean, they have 2 Springleaf Drums, so they could have Spell Pierce up, but I think we just have to go for it anyways. White blue. Okay, so in response, we're going to Chord. If they have a Spell Pierce here, that's whatever. We weren't casting this anyway. Chord for 0. Nice, results. We'll just get Dried Arbor. And Lavinia is fine. We'll pass it back to us. Twilight Mire, very nice pickup. So we can hold on to our Beseiju, which is very nice. We will just go black. I think we'll just do it like this. Yeah, then we can hold up. We can use Dried Arbor to hold up the Beseiju activation if necessary. And no need to attack or start sacrificing things here because we already made our land drop. We only have 1 mana to work with, so we don't want to. No need to really high roll here for anything. Tapping 1. Path to Exile. Huh. Okay. It's a little annoying, but we can work with it. So the only creature that we can really target here is the Giver of Runes, so we're just gonna sacrifice our Young Wolf. Now we do need to draw cards. But then they can't exile it because they all tapped out. Sure, I will exile my Chord of Calling. That means we won't have access. We don't have access to Beseiju here, so I think we just sacrifice our Halfling to draw more cards. Innkeeper, let's just take out the Giver of Runes. It's fine. Another forest. Well, unfortunate we didn't really draw an answer, but we do have, we just can set up for blockers, and they only have 1 card in hand, so hopefully nothing too scary. Let's just get a forest here, and we'll pass it back to them. We can just take whatever they're gonna do. We can just take 5, we can even take 7. They drew a land. Let's see. 1 card in hand. I don't think it could be very scary. Yeah, they're only gonna attack with that. That's a-okay. We can take 5. Down to 7. We're gonna hold on to this Beseiju. Sigard is 8. Ooh, okay, so that's pretty good top deck. Wall of Roots. Alright. So, I think we're just gonna play out a tap, or we're gonna play out the fetch land here. We're gonna thin the deck a little bit. Let's just get a basic swamp. We will tap here for an Innkeeper. We're gonna start gaining some life. Let's tap here for Wall of Roots. Always yield. Then we have 1, 2, 3 mana up. we can just tap here for a Strangleroot Geist. And then we can hold up. We'll use this mana to hold up for Boseiju if necessary. They're fetching. Okay. I don't plan on blocking with Yawgmoth, so I'm just gonna attack. We'll pass it back to them. I will block with the Geist here. If they want to use their Relic, that's fine with me. When they have Sigard as 8, every draw step is a little bit scary, but we do have interaction here, so not too worried. And we do have blockers for days, so should be okay, hopefully. We're just one top deck away from winning the game. We just need one of our 10 ways to get Yawgmoth. Opponent's thinking. Okay, go into combat. Yes, I will block opponent. They're gonna use the relic now, that's fine. Gets rid of it for later. They do draw a card. What did they draw? It does go down on their artifact count, which is pretty nice. They drew its 2 mana spell. Is it Paladin? Paladin is fine, we can play around a Paladin. Stoneforge, ugh, that's pretty bad. So we're hoping to get a hammer here. If they get Kaldra, it's a little bit worse for us. They did get Kaldra, okay. So that's good on them. Get the Kaldra. Not for us. Okay, Blooming Marsh is what we do not want to see, but we drew it anyway. Thin the deck, and we draw more lands. We still should be okay. I think we need to hold back blockers here. Fortunately. They drew a land, so their hand is a Kaldra, mystery card. Gonna play the Kaldra. If they attack with the Construct token, I will double block with my Yawgmoth and Strangleroot Geist. Ooh, they might choose to equip it to something. Oh, they could equip it to Lavinia. That would be pretty rough. If they equip it to the Construct, that's great, because then we can just destroy it in response. So, the Living Weapon trigger, and then they're going to move it over to their... Can we just Boseiju? They can't choose not to, right? Like once they already did it, it's chosen. Oh no, we don't have a window to respond there. Okay, that's interesting. So we will double block here, and then we will just chump block there with the wall. They drew a hammer. What is this? 3 mana? 3 mana. 3 mana? March? They drew a March as their other card? Blech. Okay, it's gross. Alright, now we really need a Yawgmoth here. Non-land, 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 non-land. Okay, we will concede. We'll just run it back. Quite unfortunate draws there for us, but it's fine. Yeah, it was actually good of our opponent to get the Cauldra there, because if we had Hammer, we could answer it, but Cauldra is a lot harder to answer. And I thought that was, I mean, I think that's interesting. Maybe we should have, I mean, if we just blew up the Sigarda's aid there, it doesn't matter, because they still have Cauldra. I thought that once they chose the target for with the Sigarda's aid, that they had to do it, but I guess they do not. I might also put back a Veil of Summer in my sideboard because it seems like there's an uptick in blue decks. I've been facing quite a few of them on MTGO recently. It's like, oh, I wish I had my one of Veil, but we'll see. Opponent might be switching up some things here. The key in this matchup is just to have a fast Yawgmoth. The path to exile was surprising. Usually, most lists don't run that anymore. They usually run Solitude, which, I mean, I'm happier to see a path to exile than a Solitude, but did not help. We tried to thin our deck as much as we could. We still drew lands, which is unfortunate. We will be on the play. Let's see here. Ooh, okay. This hand looks really, really good. We will keep. We have Force of Vigor for interaction. We have ramp with the Delighted Halfling, and we will just start off with the Delighted Halfling. They also kept 7, so assuming that they kept a powerful hand as well. If they go turn 1 Saga, they do not. Turn 1, it's probably going to be a Esper Sentinel or a Giver of Runes. It's a Sigarda's Aid. Okay. I don't think I'm going to force that right now, because there is no threat. So I think here I'm going to make the same play as I did last time. I'm just going to play out Yawgmoth and then hold up Cord for 0, so we can guarantee a Yawgmoth next turn. Silent clearing. Okay. So we will just fetch. I'm going to shock here, and then I'm going to Cord for 0. Get the Dryad Arbor. And that's what I'm saying. There's certain situations like this where Colony Garden just doesn't do it. It does turn off our free force, so we are going to have to hardcast that, or get rid of the Lavinia first. Ooh, Haywire Might, excellent pickup. We will just cast out Yawgmoth here. We have not made a land drop, so I might want to dig for that. I think I am going to take out the Lavinia here to open up our force. Eldritch is a great pickup. I will. I think I'll take out the Halfling now that we resolved Yawgmoth. Another Halfling. Take out Lavinia. And we drew an Overgrown Tomb. Um, I think I'll shock that in, yeah. We'll play another halfling, pass it back to our opponent. Should be in good shape here. I think I'll pitch the Strangler route if they decide to go for something here. We have many avenues that we can interact here, so we can force if we need to. We have Yawgmoth activation if we need to go emergency mode and start sacking our board. Ideally, I would just like to cast a force though and blow up their stuff. I don't want to do it into their open mana because they could have Spell Pierce, they could have Surge of Salvation. They're not attacking, which is very nice. Okay, we'll just move to our turn. Ooh, Ignoble. So we can pay for Spell Pierce. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we could just try to go for the win here. So we can go 1, 2, 3 in Eldritch. Well, Eldritch are Dryad Arbor. So if they have interaction, it's a little annoying. They do. They have a 2-mana? Hollowed Moonlight. Ooh. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so we can't get anything here. Ugh. Yeah, we can't get... Because if it was for 3, we could get Grist, but can't get that. So we will just simply not get anything. That's fine. And then we will just play out the Strangleroot Geist. And we don't want to start, I think we just attack with everyone here. Creature would enter the battlefield as it wasn't cast, exile instead. Yeah, we can just attack with everyone here. Auto yields. If they flash in a hammer, they're not going to. Maybe they are. Okay. Ugh. Okay. I mean, yeah, we do have to take out the Ornithopter here, but that's fine. So, goes on the stack. Yeah, and we will have to sacrifice our creatures here. We're not going to get them back, so we will just sacrifice our halfling and we will sacrifice our young wolf, I think. Sacrifice young wolf. It's fine. Still in good shape. Good draws from our opponent. We have lots of interaction in our hand though, so let's see. The next turn we'll play out the Haywire Might just to have the threat of activation up. We still have 2 avenues of interaction here, so we can interact with Strangleroot Geist and we can interact with Force or Ignoble. We kind of have to draw into another green card if we want to do both, but let's see what they have. Lavinia, sure. Don't know why people bring this in against us. It's not very good. They only have colorless up, so that means they can't have any protection spells. I think I will do that. If they want to slam a hammer on it, I don't care. Ooh, Bowmaster is interesting. Do I want to just force now? I think I do. Oh, I can't, that's right. That's fine. Ooh, Young Wolf is great. I think I will just play out Young Wolf. And then I will play out Haywire Might. I think we will just do this. And awesome, we play out the Verdant. We will just get in there with the damage. We have multiple avenues. We have so many ways to interact here, it's going to be hard for us to lose. We'll just pass it back to our opponent. We have an Exile with Haywire Might, we have a Fatal Push-Up, we have Force of Vigor, we have Endurance, we have Yawgmoth out. Very hard for our opponent to come back with 3 cards in hand. And there we go. Closed it out. Nice. Hammer, pretty good matchup for, or one of the best matchups for Yawgmoth, just because when Yawgmoth gets out on the board, it's just so hard for them to ever do anything against what we have. Since Yawgmoth can just activate instant speed, they need to have so many layers of protection in order to get through. So they either need to be really, really fast, or they need to have multiple instances of interaction while we don't have, while we are down on board. But as you can see in our hand, we had Orcish Bowmasters. We had free spells with Force of Vigor and Endurance. We could do both if we just drew a second green card. We have a fetch land. We have, oh well, we already have Dried Arbor in the grave, but we could, if Dried Arbor was in our deck, we could have gotten Dried Arbor, and then we also have Haywire Might activation if we wanted to do that as well. So, very good showcase of how powerful Yawgmoth is against Hammer. Yeah. But that'd be pretty good. You can see there the illustration of how Delighted Halfling. You could sorry, you can see there how Halfling is good in some situations and how it's good in not good in other situations. We had multiple hands where we could have, if it was a birds, we could have gone Yawgmoth into Strangleroot, but because of Delighted Halfling tapping for generic, we could only do one or the other, which still kind of worked out okay because in both those hands, I believe we had a Chord and we could just Chord 0 for Dried Arbor, which is why I still have Dried Arbor in the deck, because it's just Dried Arbor is the best card in the deck, and it's the worst card in the deck. People don't understand that. I know. I play Yawg. I know how bad it feels when you draw Dried Arbor, or when you open your opening 7 and you have 2 lands and one of them is Dried Arbor. It feels so bad. I know, but when Dried Arbor is in the deck, it's just so good. It's so the ways that you can utilize Dried Arbor as like an extra sack fodder for Yawgmoth, you can fetch it and then also tap it immediately with Court of Calling. It's just so good. So Dried Arbor, I don't see me taking Dried Arbor out of the deck anytime soon. I do want to try the 4 Orcish Bowmaster over Strangleroot, because with Delighted Halfling, the Bowmasters make sense because double green and Bowmasters is just a generic in 1. So I do want to try that out, see how that is. But again, right now they're just so expensive, and a lot of the trading bots don't have any to rent out. But as soon as I do, I'm going to try it out, try out Zerg's List, maybe even with the One Ring, if I can get my hands on those somehow. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.